I just learned about a new fake controversy. This artist, white artist, Dana Schutz, she drew this painting, and it's about Emmett Till, some 14-year-old black kid who was lynched by two white men in Mississippi in 1955, and apparently it served as a catalyst for the civil rights movement. So she drew this picture for whatever reason. Maybe she thought it was funny, maybe she wanted to bring attention to this oppressed black people. I don't know what her motivation is, but that's what she apparently did. So anyways, and this is of course controversial because a couple of professional agitators, it would seem, have taken it upon themselves to make this an issue. So there's Hannah Black, is a British-born black artist and writer. But it says that Hannah Black is a Berlin-based artist born in England to an Irish Caribbean father and a Russian Jewish refugee mother. So I guess she's like Irish, black, Jewish or something. And then there's another, I guess she's it says Hannah Black is an artist, and then another one is Parker Bright, is some sort of black artist. Well, anyway, this is him. He wore this shirt, Black Death Spectacle, and is protesting how white people are, I don't know, they're trivializing the suffering of the black people or some bullshit like that. And well, I don't know what is Dana Schutz's motivation for this painting. Like, she sounds like, just based on this, she sounds like some sort of leftard virtue signaling about like, oh, them poor black people. And then he is, of course, well, at first I thought maybe he is some sort of useful idiot, that he is, really believes like, evil white people are trying to appropriate black culture and suffering or something. But no, I think he's just doing it for the attention, for the controversy, and of course to like advertise his own art stuff, because like, well, there's his picture, and then I found this, like, okay, that's him apparently. Looks very gay. And yeah, this is parkerbright.net. Bullseye, I guess, is one of his paintings or whatever, and Bullseye is an investigation of decorative ambiguity with queer aesthetics. So I guess he is some gay attention whore. And we already pointed out that Hannah Black is a half black, half Irish, half Russian Jew woman. And yeah, here it says that she is a conceptual visual artist and writer. Her work spans video, text, and performance, and draws on communist, feminist, and Afro-pessimist theory. But yeah, here it says, Black was born in Manchester, England. She currently lives in Berlin, Germany, but mostly works in London and New York City. Like, and yeah, she wrote some letter to Dana Schutz and demanding that they take down her painting or destroy it or some crap like that. But yeah, she's so fucking oppressed. Like, I wish I had the money to like live in one city and then go travel to, between two of the like, most prestigious cities in the world, or like, well, Berlin, London, New York. Like, I wish I could afford traveling. So she's so fucking oppressed. Like, I'm really getting tired of these, well, champagne socialists. Like, they really are like, I guess like what I'm trying to say, like, don't, even though I'm sort of pissed off now at her, but these are like, they are professional people who are there to agitate people. Either they try to agitate you to, support these quote-unquote minority oppressed causes, or then they are trying to make you like angry against the the left that revels in oppression Olympics and all that stuff. But I just like I'm more like saying like just recognize them for what they are. This is basically their job. Like I'm pretty sure she's a crap artist, but she's good at she's like I don't like that. Here's her picture. Is she black? Like what is she? Like she's some fucking mutant. I don't think that's her. That might be her, but yeah, it's another Jewish black victim who is fucking rich, apparently. And yeah, I don't know about Dana Schutz. Like, what's her role in this? Like, did she just, she made this art piece and then it happened to catch the attention of these two apparent professional agitators like Parker Bright and Hannah Black? Or like maybe Dana Schutz herself is in on this scam herself to like because I saw some articles and stuff sort of like defending her and stuff. So I think it's just good advertisement for her because now she's a controversial artist and she's also like a victim of these psycho-cultural Marxists. So I don't know, like maybe she's just she did her painting and wanted it to be in the gallery and stuff, but then she got attacked. Or maybe for all I know, she's friends with Hannah Black and they sort of devised this to create controversy and attention for both parties. And yeah, anyway, I don't know, like Dana Schutz sounds Jewish to me, but I couldn't find confirmation whether she is like, there are many articles calling her white, but at least her work has been at the Jewish Museum. And like here, the Jewish Museum website, where is the about? Here. Like, located on New York City's Museum Mall, the Jewish Museum is a museum at the intersection of art and Jewish culture for people of all backgrounds. So does it mean that they only have art from Jews of different backgrounds, or is it like really for could I make some crappy art and could they present it there or something, even though I'm not Jewish? So Charlemagne Palestine's bear mitzvah in Meshuggah. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't want to know more. But yeah, I found this interesting article, like both sides are missing the point in the row over Dana Schutz's painting from the Spectator. It had this point, like the arguments over the painting are futile if we don't decide what art is for or what is good about it, as Tolstoy instead insisted we do. Schutz's protesters actually are, in a strange way, trying to ask these questions, but the answers they propose are abominable. Categorizing subjects as black, always capitalized, or white, never capitalized, and warning about white artists appropriating black culture, they profess a doctrine of ethnic predestination in cultural experiences and expressions that would drag us back unwittingly to Wagner. For Wagner, Judaism, like Richard Wagner, the composer, Judaism was the evil conscience of our modern civilization. While for Schutz's protesters it is whiteness, for Wagner the Jew could never gain the slightest glimpse into our German essence. And so Jewish art would always be characterized by a soulless, feelingless inertia. For Schutz's protesters, the white gaze cannot move from its habitual cold calculation. So white art is all empty formalism or irony, a pastime or a therapy, and it will only improve when white artists begin working in a reparative mode by accepting exclusivist identity politics and intersectional theory. I think maybe this writer is onto something, Jacob Wheeler. I wonder if he is a Jew. I don't know. I can try to check it later. But so he's sort of equating this whiteness that these, leftists and cultural Marxists are against with Jewishness. And I think maybe he's onto something, because like nowadays, like I could say that, yeah, whiteness is like this globalized, homogenized, Judaized version of European and Europe-based cultures, because like in Europe we are not white, we are German, Finnish, French, Italian, Macedonian, Greek, whatever. Like we have all these different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds and stuff. We're not just some generic white blob. But now with all of this Hollywood, which is of course majority Jewish, and they have created this image of this white culture with no real race. Like if you know the video like by Michio Kaku, who is supposed to be a physicist, but he's making a lot of statements about like social issues. Like he's saying like the global culture is Madonna and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you're supposed to accept it or you're a terrorist. I'm paraphrasing, but that's sort of what he was saying. Like this, Japanese American quote unquote scientist or physicist. So this is sort of like, this, soulless, what was the soulless, feelingless inertia. Like, I'm not quite sure what inertia means when it comes to art, but anyway, like this soulless, feelingless, like this mass-produced crap that, most of the stuff that Hollywood has been making for the past how many years, it's very much soulless, feelingless, and it nowadays it's seen as white, and like even. And it has taken over like religion, like I noticed I'm overusing the word like, but anyways, Star Wars or whatever, this science fiction or Transformers, comic books, like superheroes, they have like become, they have become the religion of certain geeky classes of society, and it's sort of they obsess over those clear products of human imagination and sort of worship them as a religion, and they even argue about the finer details of whether this stuff was meant this or that, or I don't even remember, but I remember my one guy I knew who was like a complete geek about pretty much everything. I'm a little bit of a geek about stuff, but nothing like that. But like how there's so vehemently people are arguing about Transformers or Sonic the Hedgehog, fanboy culture, or crap like that. Anyway, it's sort of like the different European cultures have been or replaced or are slowly being replaced with this soulless, feelingless, white identity crap, which is more or less Jewish or globalist or Masonic or whatever word you want to use. Okay, I couldn't find out whether Jacob Wheeler, the guy who wrote this article, whether he's Jewish or not. He seems to be some sort of artist, and I think he's British or something. Anyway, before I finish this, I want to talk about this Oppression Olympics. Like, I guess what would be a sane way to look at it. For example, like sure, I agree that black people in America, like their ancestors, have suffered in the past, and it's of course good to know about history and not ignore it, because if you ignore it, you are bound to repeat it and all that stuff. But like, what the fuck gives this guy like the privilege of complaining about suffering done to his ancestors? Like, if you're honest about it, like, well, first of all, I think it's completely retarded to try to compete like who's been more oppressed or whose ancestors have been more oppressed. It doesn't make any sense in any way, and how would you measure it anyways? And it's retarded, and these people are either retarded or they're trying to make other people retarded by promoting these ideas. But anyway, I like and it's always because pretty much whatever your ethnicity is, you have been oppressed. Like, your ancestors have been oppressed by some sort of group at some point in history. That's pretty much a fact. But like in history, it's fashionable for whatever reasons to bring out the oppression that certain groups faced, while ignore the oppression faced by others. For example, in Second World War, we always hear about the alleged 6 million Jews who died. But it was like the most terrible thing ever, but you don't hear, like, I think more Chinese, Japanese, Europeans, so on died in Second World War, but they don't matter as much as Jew lives. Jew lives only matter, or nowadays is Black Lives Matter. So I suppose nowadays, according to certain people, only black suffering matters because of slavery and stuff. And of course, it's not like black people, like it's not the first and only thing of in history where slavery has occurred. Like Europeans, many of whom were Jewish, who took Africans from Africa, or bought Africans from other Africans to take them to America to work in their cotton fields or whatever. Like, it's not the first case of slavery in the world, and it wasn't simply a white thing or anything. Like, the Arabs had supposedly even more like enslaved Africans much longer and treated them much worse and all of that stuff. Everybody's probably heard it, so I don't want to repeat it. But like, whatever your ethnicity, like, I'm Finnish. My ancestors, they were oppressed by the Swedes for like over 500 years. They subjugated Finland, and then the Swedes fought a war against Russia in the 19th century and lost, since they are Swedes and they're complete pussies. And then we became a protectorate or whatever, a piece of Russia for approximately 100 years. And then there was the communist revolution in Russia, and Finland became independent in like 1918, and we had a civil war. And well, like, I guess when it comes to a civil war, you can only blame yourself. Like, you cannot blame others, because it's like, oh, you're killing your own people, so we cannot blame it on the others. So it's much better to have your own countrymen killing each other instead of having foreigners kill your people. But anyway, then during Second World War, we fought against Soviet Union, and my grandfather was there too, fighting against Soviet Union. And now we are subjugated by the European Union and America. We're basically like a puppet of America. Well, all of Europe is, but that's another story. And I'm not trying to make the case that, like, my point is that I don't want to, destroy Sweden or Russia because of these historical facts. I'm more like I want to understand them, and I want to like have a more reasonable position with these countries, like have a good relations and all that stuff, and be on equal footing and all that stuff. And it pains me to like hear all these stories about what shithole Sweden has become, like how women are being raped and the whole country is being destroyed by feminism and Muslims and all that stuff. So it doesn't like bring me joy to hear Sweden go down the drain like that. And and it's not like, it's not that Finland is unique in this position. Like, Koreans, they've been subjugated by China and fought against Japan in history, and they had a civil war. Or like England and France, they've been fighting each other and being subjugated by one or the other at some point in history. So it doesn't make any fucking sense, like this oppression Olympics. And you just have to see like the whole narrative they are pushing. Like they want you, like the best thing for this, the media who are pushing these narratives is that they want you to become a complete social justice warrior who is like, yeah, evil white men. But even if you see through that, then they want you to fight against these agitators. But that's what they are, the agitators. And it would be just best, I suppose, if people just call them out on it. Like, you're just doing it for the attention, for the controversy, and like taking attention away from bigger issues, and they're certainly not promoting any viable solutions. They're just trying to make people react with emotion.